Our job normally was to find ways to make a guest's day. But you know, there were times when guests totally made our day as well. One of my favorite things about working at the theme parks was when I knew I had done something that had made a guest's day, that put a smile on their face, that created a memory that they were going to last forever. A positive memory, one that they would think back on, oh, how awesome that was. I loved those moments. And that, of course, was part of our job, was to create those kinds of moments for the guests. But you know, sometimes the tables got turned, and the guests would do things for us that would blow us away, leave us feeling like the superstars. It was amazing what even something as small as a kind word and a smile could do. You'd be surprised how many guests don't do those simple things. But even something simple like that, there were those guests that they would start off with the kind word and the smile. The ones that like to talk to you about your job. The ones that like to know a little bit more. That if you weren't busy, they like to chat. Now, in all honesty, there were those couple of guests that were slightly annoying when they would do that, because you have a job to do and they're just wanting to talk, so you can't do your other job. But they were rare. Most of the time, in fact, almost all the time, when the guests wanted to talk, it was because they saw that you weren't busy, or they could figure out a way to do it that didn't stop you from doing your job or from helping other guests. And I met some incredibly wonderful people that way. Whether at the train station at Silver Dollar City, whether as a photographer, you would have those that you start swapping stories, and man, yeah, just a really cool interaction. And wow, I wish I had more guests like that. They were awesome. Most theme park employees, not all, but most, enjoy it when you've got a friendly guest that has an idea of what's going on and wants to talk. And we had a blast. I made a couple really good friends as regular guests who would come into the parks, and we would see each other on a regular basis and we'd talk. And that was a great start. But there were some guests that just went beyond that, beyond finding ways to totally make you feel like you were appreciated and had a friend and a guest. One example of that is the kids who like to wear costumes to the park. If you go to Disney, you're going to see little girls dressed up as princesses and little boys dressed up as pirates, or the occasional prince. Disney isn't the only place you see that. At Universal, you would also see kids dressed up in Harry Potter outfits. Going to Wizarding World, you'd see adults dressed up in those outfits. At Disney now, with Star Wars being so big, you see a lot of people dressing up in Star Wars themed outfits, including the kids. But there are some that don't just fit those types. We would see at Silver Dollar City, for example, kids would come down to the train station dressed up as train engineers, which that was really cool, and we'd always point them out to the engineer so they could spend some time. But we would occasionally get that kid that wasn't dressed up as an engineer, but they'd be dressed up as a conductor. That kid was going to get treated like a rock star because they were making us feel like rock stars. The conductor's job is to yell, "All aboard!" Well, if we had a kid dressed up as a conductor, they were probably going to get to do that. Because anytime we would see a child dressed up as us, my goodness, that was a compliment. Now, we would see it occasionally at Silver Dollar City, because kids love trains. But where it really stood out was at Disney, when we would see a child come in dressed not just as a cast member, but as a PhotoPass photographer. Oh my goodness. I can remember a couple times when kids came in dressed like that, and let me tell you, the photographers dropped everything to try and take care of this child. I mean, we would swarm them. Let me get a picture with them. I want a picture with them. We had two that I really remember this with. One at Magic Kingdom and one at Hollywood Studios. And at Magic Kingdom, the photographers, okay, yes, it may have been outside of the job description a little bit, but man, we all dropped our lines for a minute so we could put ourselves all in a big group shot with this child that the parents could take the picture. Because technically we weren't supposed to take pictures of ourselves with the PhotoPass camera. But we all got a big group shot with all of us photographers and this kid dressed up as a photographer, because they were imitating us, man. We're famous. This kid's got to dress up like we do. It was just a really cool moment. The other one at Hollywood Studios, every photographer wanted to take pictures of that kid because they were dressed up as us, and they were getting all the magic shots and special photos and anything we can come up unique and different. This kid dressed up as us was getting it because, wow, they made us feel special. Something else that guests did, though, that also really kind of made us feel the same way is you've all seen the character autograph books. The little books that people take up to the characters and have them autograph and sign. And yes, I've got one and my kids have one. And usually the kids and the families are just going after the characters with those. But every now and then you would have somebody go a little bit different, and they would actually gather autographs of cast members who had made their day. And I remember a few times when I had finished taking a family's pictures and had a great time with them, which I did almost every single family I worked with. Had a nice routine and made it fun for everybody. And then the kid, and every now and then the adult, would walk up and say, "You are so awesome. Can I get your autograph? You've helped make my day." Do you want my autograph? Not the characters? Or you want mine? Man, okay. You have just totally made my day because you've made me feel like a rock star. Now I know I blessed you. Oh yeah, that would totally get us. I did see one other photographer start crying when somebody asked for their autograph. You really want to make a photographer's day, or any cast member that's done something special? Pull out your autograph book. And that cast member's going to go, oh my goodness, because we know we've done something special. Yeah, that was always really cool. When you would have guests pull out the autograph book, and I had a few that not only had the autograph book, but then they wanted a picture with me, taking it again on their camera, because we couldn't use PhotoPass since we were on-duty cast members. But when the guest wants pictures with you in the picture, wow, I must have done something good. That's really neat. Because I want to remember you in the moment that you had with them. That was amazing. Other things that always kind of blew me away, and I do this now, I try to do this a number of times when I have characters, is when you would see guests bring gifts in for the characters. If you want a good hint for a great character interaction, bring them gifts like little candies or pins or small little things. You're going to get an amazing interaction. But then again, there were those guests that didn't just bring gifts for the characters, but they would bring them for other cast members. That was something, again, unexpected, but it would make your day. In fact, I've actually even got a note that was attached to one of the gifts that was given me. Just a simple chocolate bar, which, by the way, if you're going to Florida in summer, chocolate's probably not a good idea because it melts easy in the sun. But they had brought me a chocolate bar from Ghirardelli in San Francisco. They were from California, we're out at Florida. That was really cool when they said, you know what, you've done a wonderful thing. We want to thank you. Here's a chocolate bar. Thanks. Along with a note. And wow, that was cool. I was given little bags of candy. Fantastic little things. On the train as we robbed, we would have people, kids that would actually give us gold nuggets. Okay, yes, they're rocks that are painted gold. Little things like that. Gold nuggets, chocolate candies, various little things that were special. For many of them, it was part of the fun of getting robbed, but it was also a way to say, thank you for helping make our day and entertain us. And I kept some of those things. A lot of them got donated or eaten. But yeah, just a really neat, wow, how special was that they appreciate us. Even little things, you can find these on the internet and download them and print them yourself. I've done the same thing. But just little thank you cards from guests saying, hey, thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for making our day. These little things don't take very long to make your own, customize, and print. They will completely bless those cast members. I got handed a card like this. It was like, wow, you're thanking me? Thank you! And of course, there's always the ways to thank cast members for doing jobs. Guest relations, of course, is a great place to do it. Disney has always done something where you can talk to other cast members and say, hey, how can I get them a compliment or something? When I was there, they were called guest service fanatics. And this changes constantly. I think they've gone through like 3 or 4 different versions of this. This is the stack of the ones I got from when I was working there. There are a couple in here from guests. There are several in here from entertainment. And they simply have your name on it and what you did and when you did it. And you would actually be able to tear off a copy, enter it as a drawing, but It was just cool to be able to have somebody say, hey, you did an awesome job. If you went to guest relations when I was there, they would send you something called an applausogram. And again, it's the same thing. It is a guest that just expressed appreciation. When we would get these, we'd walk into work, and as you start your shift, your manager would walk up and, hey, I got something for you. Now, the applausigrams, oftentimes, they would make a big deal because these are a bigger deal than these. These were a little easier to get. This is, hey, you really went above and beyond. What Disney does most recently is on Twitter, you could actually post a tweet saying what the cast member did, and then you would hashtag it cast compliment, especially if you tagged the Disney park in it. And they would be able to then send a note to the cast member or an applausogram equivalent and things like that. We did that several times, and it was really cool to see the cast member get recognized, and Disney's Twitter will actually reply and show you a picture of them getting recognized for what you did. Those kinds of things are amazing. Every park does something like this. If a cast member or an employee did something great, go to guest relations and write up a note. Send an email to the park saying, hey, this person did an amazing thing. Write a letter to the park. I've got some from Silver Dollar City. I got a couple from Busch Gardens as well, and I should have pulled them out. Sorry, I didn't. But those kinds of things, even after the fact, are going to bless that cast member. And what a way to start your day when you walk in and go, wow, somebody appreciated me? That's special. So those are ways that guests blessed us and blew me away and did things that I didn't expect to make me feel good. Yeah, my job was to make them feel good, but, you know, they did it to me as well. Do you have other ideas, things that you can do to help make an employee or cast member stay? I'd love to hear it. If you are an employee or cast member, what else do guests do that just totally made your day? Share them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to share the video as well. I also want to give a huge shout out to my patrons and my financial supporters. A huge thank you to Mark Wright and to Adam Scrucci, I hope I said that right, for signing on. Thank you so incredibly much for your support. If you want to know more about supporting me on Patreon or as a YouTube member, check the description below. There are perks and benefits that come with it, including behind the scenes stuff and much more. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless. And that would, of course, I can, yeah, is, you know, kids like to wear costume to the park. But if you, it's a, I can't talk today. At Universal, you'll see a lot of them dressed up in Harry Potter outfits going to wizard. Yeah. But then again, there were those characters. No, those are guests. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.